In this lecture, I want to spend a bit of time talking about something that you can do in order to be able to demonstrate some social proof and your capabilities and the value that you can add to your target audience or the people that you're ultimately trying to attract. So, I mentioned a term earlier in the course and talk about it a bit more now, the concept of social proof. And so if we spend a bit of time thinking about this just for a second, part of that is that when somebody is looking for help or they're looking for a solution, again, most of the time they're turning to, Google searches, that type of thing. And we've already talked about how to make sure that you come up in some of those searches. But often everything gears them more and more towards the social channels, whether that be LinkedIn, Twitter, what have you, some of these different areas where they're doing some of that research. I want to also point back to the stat that we talked about earlier, which is about the B2B buyers wanting to engage with thought leaders and industry leaders. So if you think about that concept, the number one way in order to be able to demonstrate sort of social proof for you and your capabilities and the value that you can bring to the table is ultimately through social media, and even more specifically through LinkedIn, because it actually is the leading B2B tool for social media. Okay? Hope that makes sense, but the whole point behind all this is think about the people that are ultimately going to be coming and checking out your profile. What is it that you want them to walk away with? What's that first impression? What's that reputation that you want to build? And one of the key things that you can do to provide some depth as it relates to the capabilities and the value that you can offer is through what they call work samples, which you can attach to your profile. So what do I mean by work samples? Well, first off, I'm just going to go again to my profile, and you can see what this means to you. But the thing is, here I can see I'm going to view it as a connection, okay? Or I can view it as public. You know how we did that. But here, this is what I mean by the work samples. So you can actually attach a number of different things to your profile or even to your work history that you want to make sure people have. So for example, here, I actually have a video that explains more about ideas to revenue and some of the services that we do. Up here, I have a link that takes people to the site where my ebook is, right? So part of what I want people to be able to do is to be able to come here and get a bit more depth. So it's not just about having the keywords, but while they're here, what is it that you want them to do? So maybe you've published an ebook yourself. Maybe there's sort of an online assessment that you want them to take. Maybe there's an article that you published in a magazine that you want them to read through. What information do you have that you want to use in order to be able to build credibility for yourself and build the depth of the credibility for yourself, but also to clearly articulate the value that you can bring to them and you can bring to the equation? Okay, so this is where the work samples play a huge part, and it gives you a ton of opportunity to do this. And you know what, even looking at myself, there's probably more stuff that I can do to take advantage of that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually just come back to here to edit my profile. Where is it here? And so how you add this information is that as you come through here on your profile, here's the summary that you'll see for the summary that you've adjusted already. Here's the information here. If you go up and you click the square with the plus item, this is where you can start to add the information, and you can upload different files. You can point towards a different website, anything that you want to do, again, to establish and promote the credibility and the value that you provide. If you're not sure what you're able to actually put up there, if you click on here, it gives a full list of the different types of content that you can have there. So you can have everything from Flickr pictures to, I know that if you do stuff on things like Fiverr or another one, which is the slide share. This is actually a very popular one and a very, very powerful one. So if you've done slideshows or presentation files where you've delivered it to people and you feel that there's a ton of content in there, valuable content that can establish you as it relates to some of the messaging that you want to get across around the value that you or your company provide, attach that slideshow. You can do that using the SlideShare component. But as you can see here, there's a number of different elements that you can add here, different sort of content types that you can attach here and attach it to your work samples in order to be able to really create that depth of the credibility that you can have as soon as somebody hits your profile. Okay, makes sense? Go ahead, take advantage of that now, and I'll see you in the next lecture.